Tim, the Fletcher family have been in real estate coming up to 100 years. What is it that sets the good real estate agents apart?
I think there are a number of things, Des, but I think the most important thing of all is actually caring for the people you're looking after and making sure that the landlord or the seller is represented in the very best way. In other words, they get the best outcomes. That's also being fair to the buyer as well. And in addition to that, I think it's having a team of people who follow your beliefs, your culture, and passionately believe that the client is the most important thing. Making sure you've got the best technologies available and basically providing a service to people that is second to none. And look, these decisions that people are making, they don't do it very often. So they're nervous about it, understandably. The best business people in the world are very nervous about this exercise they're embarking upon. So you've got to basically hold their hand through the exercise, represent them the best way, be honest with them. You've got to have trust on both sides, and that comes through giving good information and believable information, but ultimately looking after those people so at the end of the day they'll tell other people to use you.
Now, we're in a fairly tough market at the moment. What would you be recommending to people selling via the auction system, which has stood everyone in good stead, or private sale at the moment?
You've got to look at each individual case. You've got to look at the property itself and you've got to look at the people who are selling. Auction's most appropriate if you've got a unique property that's hard to price, and very importantly, after 4 weeks of marketing, you're pretty confident you'll have competition. Now, if the vendor doesn't want an auction, there are other means of marketing a property very effectively. A private sale can be done either with a fixed price or expressions of interest, whereby you're having all the benefits of the auction campaign without nominating a number until you've got meaningful feedback, and then you can make an informed decision about what you shouldn't take.
How important is it, once you've assigned an agent to sell your house, to sort of sit back and let them get the best price possible?
Look, I think it's fairly important, but nevertheless, a vendor is entitled to have constant feedback. It is a very anxious time, we understand that, and communication is the most important thing in this whole process. And if you do that effectively, then the vendor won't interfere in the process. And that's not to say they haven't got something meaningful to contribute. They often have. But when you've got this trust, you're best to stand back and let the expert do their job.
Preparing your home for market, how do you make it stand out?
Very important, particularly when you've got a lot of competition. One of the most important things is the facade of the property, the garden and all those sort of things, because you want that wow factor. If people pull up out the front and drive on, you've lost those people. So you've got to get them in the front door to start with. Having done that, you've then got to present the property well. Now, there are a lot of ways, and this is where a good agent will give professional advice about how to maximise on the presentation side. It might mean getting a stylist in who are expert in this area. It might mean hiring furniture, decluttering, so that when people walk in, they get that warm feeling. And as I said before, it's a wow factor. If you've not got that, and the other property has it you're competing with, you'll lose those buyers. It can cost you tens of thousands of dollars.
And how important is the marketing side of it then? And what tools do you think are most important for marketing?
Well, there are several elements here. Marketing is critical in terms of exposing a property to the most number of people, because ultimately you've got to make sure as an agent that no one misses out on seeing it. Then you've got to handle them properly. That's another issue. But marketing in terms of very, very good photography. You can do things like a video tour. The internet is absolutely critical, and people like ourselves have got ways of optimising the internet, and that's very, very important and very cost effective too. There are certain publications, but each one of them has to be proven, and you've got to say to the agent, demonstrate to me that each of these will be a good investment.
You mentioned the internet. Obviously, Fletcher's has embraced that big time. You've got an award-winning website.
Well, we have, and we've won it several years in a row. That's how important we think it is to actually have the very best website, because it's one of the most powerful marketing tools you can possibly get, and the most cost-effective as well.
In the market we find ourselves in, how important is it that people, vendors, have a realistic idea of what their house is worth?
Well, I think you're best to have your feet on the ground in terms of a likely expectation. But I do think the really professional agent is the one that will go for the very top dollar. And that's not mislead people in terms of their expectation at the outset. But having had that discussion, then goes to the market in a very bullish and aggressive way to get the most they can for the seller.
How important is negotiation when it comes to getting the best price for your property?
I think it's critical. I've often said, and there are a lot of other reasons why you appoint an agent, but you could fundamentally appoint an agent based on their negotiating skills. It can make the difference of tens of thousands of dollars, and I've seen it over the years. A good negotiator is an absolute must when you're selling your most important asset.
Thanks for sharing all of that knowledge with us, Tim. Now, how long till Fletcher's Real Estate celebrates its 100th?
It's just another 7 years.
Are we having a party?
My word, we will.
I look forward to it.
One thing's for sure, I won't be round for the next end of the next 100 years.
Just get that first century under your belt. That'll do it to you.